Arizona, summer of 2013, two adventurous girls, Emma and Lily, decided to explore the rugged trails of Superstition Mountains. Little did they know that they were about to become part of a horrifying legend themselves. The girls set out, equipped with backpacks filled with food and water and a camera to document their adventure. The hiking trail they chose was the Peralta Trail, known for its views of Weaver's Needle, a jagged rock formation. But as they trekked farther into the wilderness, an eerie sensation settled upon them, a feeling that they were not alone. After several hours of hiking, they stumbled upon an old cabin, where they decided to stay for the night. They huddled together, clutching their flashlights tightly as if they felt someone's presence. In the middle of the night, bone-chilling screams echoed through the cabin. Terrified, they decided to leave immediately. As they stepped outside, the moon bathed the landscape in an eerie glow. In the distance, they saw a figure standing in a shadow. The girls tried to run, but the shadow caught up with them. The next morning, the sheriff's office received a call from a worried family member, who had been expecting Emma and Lily to return home. A search party was dispatched to the Superstition Mountains. They found the abandoned cabin, but Emma and Lily were nowhere to be seen. The search for the two girls intensified, but despite the efforts, there was no sign of Emma and Lily. Yet, the authorities had found one thing: the girls' camera covered in dust. The camera recorded the girls' cries and screams as they ran through the forest in fear. The camera also captured a blurry, strange figure that made unhuman sounds. Locals thought that they had simply become lost in the treacherous terrain, and that the recording was not real. But as news spread, some people brought up legends about evil lurking in the mountains, an old Indian legend about a soul desperate for revenge. But no one knew for sure, as no one have heard from them again. The rhythmic clatter of the wheels against the rails was the only sound that punctuated the dimly lit train carriage. Linda sat by the window, her gaze fixated on the endless expanse of darkness outside. The train was making its way through the desolate plains of the Midwest on a moonless night. She had boarded this cross-country train, hoping the journey would offer her a break from the mundane routine of her life. Little did she know that this voyage would become a descent into terror. It started with a whisper so faint that Linda wasn't even sure she had heard it. "Linda," it breathed, barely audible. "You're alone, Linda," it whispered. All alone in the dark. Her eyes settled on a shadowy figure at the far end of the carriage. It was a man, shrouded in darkness, his features obscured. Linda gathered her courage and decided to confront him. "Did you say something?" she asked. The man remained motionless, revealing his sunken eyes that seemed devoid of life. How did he know her name? What did he want from her? But before she could react, the train entered a tunnel, plunging the carriage into complete darkness. The whispering grew louder, more menacing, echoing through the tunnel as if it were a haunted chamber. Once the train emerged from the tunnel, and Linda's heartbeat gradually returned to normal. The man had vanished into thin air, leaving her with a paralyzing fear. She sank into her seat, trying to dispel the cold shiver that had settled in her bones. She couldn't explain what had just happened, but she knew she couldn't stay in this carriage any longer. Linda made her way to the next carriage, determined to put as much distance as possible between her and the eerie presence. But the whispers persisted, following her through the night. Linda could only hope that daylight would bring an end to this haunting ordeal and provide answers to the mysterious figure. But just when she began to relax, as the first pale rays of dawn filtered through the train windows. In the glass, she saw her reflection, but it was distorted, contorted into a grotesque, nightmarish visage. Her own face twisted into a terrifying mask of despair and terror, with eyes hollow and vacant. She gasped and turned away from the reflection, her heart pounding. When she looked back, her reflection was normal again. The whispers returned, now more insistent and menacing than ever. "You can't escape, Linda," the voice hissed. "You belong to me now." She desperately clung to the hope that this would all end, that she would reach her destination, and the nightmare would be over. As the train pulled into its final station, the other passengers disembarked, leaving her alone in the carriage. Linda quickly made her way closer to the exit. She stepped onto the platform, trying to get away as fast as she could. Linda found herself alone on an empty train platform. The train was gone, and there was no sign of the man or the whispers. A sinister laughter echoed through the empty station. The mysterious man, the one who had called her name in the darkness, materialized before her. Linda's scream pierced the silence of the desolate station. The entire world was on the brink of shattering into darkness, only to suddenly return to normal again. She rushed out of the station, out into the open air, and didn't stop until she found herself in the midst of a bustling city. Days turned into weeks, and Linda tried to return to her normal life. But the memory of that man and the whispers haunted her every waking moment. Linda could never escape the feeling that she was being watched. The memories would forever haunt her, just beyond the edge of her perception. On a moonless night, Eleanor Blackwood, a fearless paranormal investigator, stood at the gates of Hollywood Manor. Armed with a powerful flashlight and her unshakable resolve, she pushed open the rusty gates and stepped into the abyss. The floors creaked ominously beneath her feet, and the faded portraits lining the walls seemed to watch her with hollow eyes. Eleanor ventured deeper into the mansion, leading the way with her flashlight. As she entered the grand ballroom, her flashlight flickered and died, leaving her in complete darkness. A whispering, ghostly chorus filled the room, and icy fingers brushed against her skin. The voices hissed, "Get out!" And Eleanor felt herself being pulled into an abyss of despair. Eleanor felt a cold breath on her cheek, sending a shiver of terror down her spine. Terrified, she managed to bring her flashlight back to life. Determined to escape, she resolved to find a way out of the accursed mansion. Finally, Eleanor burst through the front doors, gasping for air. She left the accursed place, forever marked by her gruesome encounter with the malevolent spirits of the forsaken mansion. On the night Eleanor Blackwood escaped the malevolent horrors of Hollywood Manor, she returned to her small, quiet home on the outskirts of town. She thought that her terrifying encounter with the spirits within the decrepit mansion was behind her, but the gruesome memories continued to haunt her. Night after night, she was tormented by gruesome nightmares, the faces of the malevolent spirits twisted and contorted in gruesome agony. As weeks turned into months, Eleanor's friends and family grew increasingly worried. She rarely left her dimly lit room, and she spoke of nothing but the malevolent spirits she had encountered. One fateful night, a gruesome storm raged outside her home. Eleanor was in her study, surrounded by gruesome symbols and flickering candles. Suddenly, there was a deafening, gruesome crash, and the room went dark. The family ran to check on Eleanor, but to their shock, she had vanished without a trace. Eleanor's fate remained a gruesome mystery. Local authorities tried to find out what happened to Eleanor, but they failed. No one has seen her since.